Hey guys, this is Khalif, Fat Guy Skinny Wallet, and I'm just giving you an update on my back injury. If you guys have been watching the last few videos, my back has been really tight, and I've been doing some myofascial release, and some foam rolling. I've been doing a lot of stretching and a lot of mobility work, a lot of dynamic stretching and different things, different exercises, and it's helped a great deal. But it hasn't helped completely. I'm still at the point where I can't really get in a full workout. So, it's been keeping me out of the gym. As I can't really squat with any considerable weight, can't deadlift at all, and can't really do bent over rows. So, most of what I would do is kind of gone. So, anyway, I went to see this chiropractor. I figured I need some professional help. And, Sherry and I both went. I don't want to just bash the guy, so I'm trying to think of what to say, what not to say. But, okay, so I was standing up because I said when I sit with no support on my back, it causes my back to hurt because I like to sit and lean forward like this a lot. If I don't have if the seat with no back, I like to lean forward. And doing that makes my back hurt. So I was like, I just stand while you see her. And I was standing. He looked at me the way I was standing. I'm like rocking back and forth. And he's like, I see what your problem is. And he pretty much tried to diagnose me by the way I was standing. And I wasn't standing straight. One leg was pointing off to the side a little. And he said, I think that's what your problem is. And even though I told him everything that happened, told him I've never had any problems like this before, told him I've been quite flexible all my life, he still tried to tell me that probably from the age of 6 years old on, I, had some type of issue. He put his hands like this, probably this far apart, on my sides and said, look, this is where your hips are. Like they're this far apart. And if you can't tell by the camera, probably about a good 6 inches. And I'm just like, no, I don't think my one hip is 6 inches lower than the other hip. And he's like, yeah, I'm looking and I can tell by the way you're standing, and it's caused by the fact that your feet pronate, very excessive, and saying all this stuff. And I was like, okay. So then he asked me to do all these movements, all these exercises, turn your head this way and this way. And he's like, it was tighter. You see how it was tighter on the left, right? He wasn't asking. He was telling me what I was supposed to feel and what how I should answer. His questions were extremely leading. Like, do you see how it's tighter? No, I don't see it's tighter. It's not tighter when I do this versus that. It feels exactly the same. He had me do about 10 things, and only like 1 or 2 of them I did feel somewhat of a difference. Still nothing major. And part of the difference was because of the tight back that I've been having for the last 6 weeks. And he took x-rays, and then he pulls it up, says, oh, look at your hips, draws a line, puts a line there. Hips are as straight as can be. It looked like you were looking at some type of anatomy, one of those skeletons in an anatomy class. Like, it was just like perfect. So I'm like, what are you showing me? He's like, and your spine is just barely, slightly off. Like, yeah, exactly, a slight. I mean, I'm just looking and saying everything you were saying before you took the x-rays, and he kept trying to explain it away. So I guess you can tell I don't have much confidence in this guy. I mean, everything he was saying was, when I was saying no, he ended up, or let me say it this way, for every assumption he had, he was wrong the majority of the time. And when he saw that whatever his initial diagnosis was, didn't line up with how my body was responding and what I was feeling and experiencing, instead of changing the diagnosis, he ended up saying, well, our body structure is pretty much determined by the time we're 6 years old. We grow, taller and wider, but our bone structure is pretty much determined. Okay, fine. So if you've been feeling this since you've been 6 years old, like if I'm turning this way and it's tighter than it is when I turn to the right, then I'm used to that because it's always been tighter on the left since I've been 6. So that's about 30 years of me feeling that. Then that means I'm used to it now. And so it's not that my body doesn't have these imbalances and differences. In his mind, it's that they're there, but I'm so used to it because they've been there for 30 years. So then my thing is, why are you asking me then? If you know that I would be used to the imbalances and the muscle tightness that you swear I should have, then why are you asking me and trying to give me assessments in the office? So that was the first thing. Then, of course, the second thing with that is, if that was the case, why has it only been in the last 6 weeks that I've been feeling this? And I'm explaining to him things that I've been doing that have helped to improve it. I was explaining to him what, things I was doing before it happened. It didn't matter. Like, he wasn't listening to what I was saying and saying, you know what? Maybe I should change what I initially thought when I just looked at you. You can't diagnose somebody by just staring at them in one moment in time, looking at the way their feet are pointed. And that's what he tried to do. So he said, I think you need inserts. And I believe that. I know when I was running, and I went to the running store, and they had me run on a treadmill, and they had me do a bunch of exercises and things, and to figure out what type of running shoes I should buy. They said that, even the way that you land when you run, your feet are pronated, your feet are turned, and they land, where it said it was kind of excessive. And so the way that I land, the outside portions of my feet barely, don't hit the surface till well after the inside portions hit. So he said, okay, well, I can get you some inserts, and these inserts may help with that, and that may alleviate a lot of the pain in your back. So, of course, I'm saying, why, if this has been the case for years, and I was running when I was almost 300 pounds, why am I just feeling that now? And why is it not made worse by exercise, unless it's exercise where I'm actually putting a load of weight on my back? Or my back has to do a lot of work to move weight. That's the only time where I feel it. So, of course, he had no answers for that, no explanations. And the only thing he did do that helped, he did some things with my legs and helped stretch out my hip flexors. So pretty much while he's working on me, first when I walked in, the first thing I said was, I know that my glutes and my hip flexors are tight. I told him, I sit 8 hours a day. I sit an hour, half hour to work, half hour back, and I go home and I'm sitting again. The only time I'm not sitting, on a consistent basis is when I'm working out or sleeping. So I'm sitting so often, and then and trying to tell him, and then at the end, he goes through all these things. He said, "Wow, you feel that? That means your hip flexors are tight. Oh, look at this, your glutes are tight, dude. I told you that a half hour ago. We could have skipped all that." So, needless to say, we weren't satisfied with him. I mean, Sherry Ann had a similar experience. I think he was a little more accurate with her case than mine, but he's told us very similar things. So, yeah, it was just very frustrating because it wasn't as if he took all the information I gave him, did an examination, did the x-rays, and then took all three of those components, put them together, and then came up with a accurate diagnosis. Or just a diagnosis. Even if it was wrong, it would have been a educated guess. It would have been an assumption based off of a lot of facts. But instead, he made the assumption first. He made the diagnosis first, or I guess the prognosis, and he never changed it, even though all the facts that were hitting him, my x-rays, my his actual examination of me, and my history, all went against his assumptions. He never changed them. So that was probably the most frustrating thing. And I actually have an appointment with him on Thursday to see if the inserts have helped at all. And I'm still kind of on the fence about whether I want to go back or not. I said, I'll give it a shot. And then, go back to him. It's like $15 copay with my insurance. So I can go back to him. And if I'm not satisfied, then I won't do it. Every time I talk about it, my experience with him, I just say, I don't want to go back. So I don't know. Maybe I'll go back, like I said, because he could be all of those things and still be right. He is a professional. So all those things could be true, what I said, and he could still be right. Just because he doesn't seem to be a good doctor and doesn't seem to be someone who can put things together and try to deduce what's really going on. He seems to be someone who gets an idea and just runs with it. But maybe that idea that he got is correct, but it's expressing itself in a different way. Who knows? So maybe I will go back. Or maybe if I go back, it'll be a waste of time, and I don't want to waste my time. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see actually how my back feels, with trying to wear these inserts. So, yeah, that's it. That's the story. I've been talking for like 10 minutes because You know, some of those things to me were comical and some parts were frustrating. The overall injury is frustrating because it's not, I physically can't do things because of how tight my back feels, and it causes pain when I work it a lot. It's not that, I'm getting tired. It's not that my muscles are too weak. It's because of this thing that I can't really control. I didn't hurt it in the gym. I didn't hurt it while running. I woke up and it was just so tight that as soon as I tried to get out of bed and actually kind of crunch up, sit up from a laying position, it was hurting from there because it was so tight. And ever since then, I can't even do the most basic things without just dealing with the pain. And as I said, the foam rolling, working with the tennis ball, all of that helps, but only helps to a certain degree. It doesn't completely alleviate the tightness or the pain that comes when I actually work. All right, guys. So, I said I've been talking long enough, and I'll update you guys as soon as I get something else from this doctor, or if I go somewhere else. I'll let you know what my decision is. If you're still watching, let me know below what you would do. Let me know if you would just go and give that person one more chance, give them the benefit of the doubt, or would you just go to another doctor right away? So, yeah, let me know what you guys would do if this was you. And let me know if you've ever experienced this. If you ever had some doctor that just had an assumption as soon as you walked in, whatever it is. I think Sarah always talks about the doctor that assumed her back pain was due to her being overweight, and it wasn't that at all. There was a real injury she had that the doctor wouldn't have known if they would have just went with his first instinct that said, you're fat, that's why your back hurts, or you're fat, that's why your knees hurt, or you lift weights and that's why this part of your body is in pain right now because you lift heavy weights. I've been told that, actually. Most people who know me are like, ooh, you must have heard it in the gym. Ooh, that's what you get lifting those heavy weights. And when I explained to them how it happened, oh well, it probably wasn't that. So to have a doctor do that is frustrating. So tell me if you ever experienced that. And don't forget to like the video, subscribe if for some reason you're watching this and not subscribed. And I'll catch you guys next time. And just remember, a change today for a triumph tomorrow.